Welcome back to the Fantasy Flyer. It's Derek. It's Taylor. Oh, hey, look who it is.
Oh, boys!
It is Ian. Ian, what's going on, buddy?
Not a whole lot. It's a little chilly down here in Texas, but looking forward to doing this mock with you boys, and happy to be back on the Flyer talking some football. I talk a lot of soccer, so I'm excited to talk a little football here, a little American football.
You tried to move away from the cold, and now you're hanging with it.
There's really no place that's safe anymore.
For real.
Yeah, it's 15 degrees here in upstate New York. Taylor is an hour and 2 hours south, and you're in the same boat. And then
like
you're
20s.
like 33 down there, Ian.
It's not Texas warm, that's for sure.
That's for sure. We are here to do a mock draft, an entire first round mock draft of the NFL draft itself. I'm going to share my screen momentarily, and we're going to go through the first 32 picks. Because unlike last year, there's actually 32 picks in the first round. Thanks, Broncos. So that's going to be fun. I'll probably start off with round one. We are going to do trades. If you feel like the team you are at would trade, let's do it.
Okay.
That's simple. So I don't think there's any other rules. If you need a moment to look something up or you need help with it, let us know. But I think for the most part, we're ready to rock and roll. I will share my screen right now. Bam.
Phone a friend.
There we go. Yeah, phone a friend if you need to.
All right, so I'm going to throw this out there for number 2 and 3. E, how do you feel about taking my boys so I can get a different perspective on the viewers?
Yeah, I was actually joking with Dorn the other day when I was. I don't know if his name has ever come up on this.
It has, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was joking with him. I was like, "Yeah, dude, don't worry. I'll take the Patriots pick in this mock I'm doing with the boys. They're totally not going to take a quarterback, right? Since you traded for Bailey Zappi and fucking Mac Jones, gave up Lamar Jackson for him. So pretty confident that they're not going to take a quarterback, huh? Yeah, I'll take the Pats, man.
All right,
Get some help.
Yeah, so I'll start off with one. Is my screen big enough to you guys? You guys are gonna have to give me some reference there.
Looks good.
Looks good. All right. We are gonna let this go. There's no timer on these picks, so feel free to chat about them. Obviously, Bears are on the clock at number 1. I'm gonna start off by trading. I think it's the first thing. I know. I've heard the rumblings, and I know the rumblings don't mean a lot because it's January and not April, but I think this is time we talk a little bit about this trading down. Would you be upset if I took the Patriots at 1?
Oh, that's straight up for the first?
Well, so in my mind, there's about 3 teams that could trade with Chicago. All right. New England's one of them because why settle for whoever falls to you and when you can have who you want?
Well, so I guess on that real quick.
Yeah.
Like Caleb, Drake, Jaden Daniels.
Correct.
Obviously, everybody's like Caleb's the number 1, but Daniels had a phenomenal year. If I'm the Pats, honestly, if I get any one of those 3, I'm much happier than I am right now. So like,
absolutely,
from a Bill Belichick sort of, he's not there anymore, but like he wouldn't trade up. He would just sit there and wait.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the Bears are in a weird spot. I like Justin Fields. I just don't think he's ever going to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. And we've seen that you've got to have top 10 quarterback play to be a relevant franchise in this league. So I think they're probably going to take Caleb, but initially I got a couple of Chicago Bears friends who, I'm in a group chat with, and we talk Chicago stuff all the time. And, they're big Justin Fields believers, but I just think the writing is on the wall where probably makes more sense for Chicago to try to recoup like a second round pick for Justin, take Caleb, and go from there.
I'm very much of the belief that they're going to make the dumb decision.
Okay.
And I
they have
don't
a track
and
record.
I don't mean that disrespectfully for the Bears fans out there, but
Oh, they trust me, they're aware.
yeah. The last 6 games for some reason gave Matt Eberflus this idea that he wants to keep Justin Fields and then he doesn't. And I don't know. There's been talk that it's going to come down to who the offensive coordinator will end up being and how he feels with the system that he's going to implement, whether they want to go with Fields or not. So if that's the case, I think you're correct. The smart idea and the most logical one is to probably draft Caleb Williams here. Totally understand that. I'm going to play on the side of they aren't going to run away from Justin Fields, and they will end up getting other assets from a team like the other one that I'm very interested to see if they want to trade up, which is Atlanta.
Mhm.
Outside chance, Raiders, doubt it. I think that's the third of the teams, and that's a no. To your point, the Patriots have no reason. The only reason they would is if they really pick out that they want Daniels or Caleb, and they can't stand Drake May or vice versa.
Right.
And they want to get ahead of Washington at 2. I'm going to go with Atlanta.
It's funny you say that because Belichick is there now.
Well, did he sign?
Yeah, as well. I don't know if he's signed.
He had a second meeting. They actually, I think Mike Vrabel. I was just about to read it. I just saw it on the TV behind me. Mike Vrabel, I believe, is supposed to have an interview with them.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought basically I read it was like basically done.
We're probably looking somewhere in the neighborhood of like this conundrum.
You're gonna have to give him 3 firsts.
Well, they don't give us 3, so there we go. I don't think that you would end up with this much going as far as picks wise, probably value wise, yes. You could also see a player going from Atlanta to Chicago.
You'd have to, yeah. If the Bears if their Bears are trading this pick, they also have to get a proven NFL asset in that deal.
Yeah.
To get like you can't just keep stocking draft picks if you're gonna make Justin the guy. You have to put some players around him.
Right. And they're gonna have pick 8 and 9 back to back. 8 and 9 will be back to back now, which is they get 1-8 along with a bunch of other assets for 1-1. And if Atlanta was to do this, they're only trading up for Caleb. So I'm taking Caleb at 1. Did that mean Taylor you wanted 2, right? We had talked about this. Okay. Yeah. Taylor, you are on with 2.
I mean, I don't really feel the need to discuss it too much. It's either for me, it's May or Daniels. I think a lot of people would say that they feel like May is the guy. Unfortunately I actually like Daniels a little bit more. So I'm gonna go with Daniels. Unfortunately for my Patriots.
Both of these guys, incidentally enough, they're in the 90th and 97th percentile for quarterback 40-yard dashes.
Damn.
Yes, Drake's got some athleticism for sure. I also like Daniels more. If it breaks like this, Pats are going Drake May, so I'll go ahead and lock that in.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't much of a question. And also, if it breaks like this, I would be stupid. So in our first mock draft, quick regret that I can point back in the first one. I missed Marvin Harrison at 3 when we did it in December. Not doing that again. Cardinals are taking Marvin Harrison at 4, and that's probably barring a trade to the Bears for a wide receiver, which I don't think would happen. I think that's almost a certainty now, is that you have 3 quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, and that you have Marvin Harrison falling to the Cardinals, and they're just literally lying in wait. So
yep, it's beautiful for them.
Yeah, 100%. Chargers at 5. That is time for Taylor.
So they definitely are in need of some more receiving options. But I think that Brock Bowers is a phenomenal, receiving option despite the fact that he is a tight end. And I don't even think that despite the fact is the right way to put it. Like that's almost like, a bonus. He's a tight end that's phenomenal with the ball in his hands and catching and whatnot. So I'm going to go with Brock Bowers here, even though QJ didn't really pan out. Mike Williams continues to get hurt, and Keenan Allen is aging, unfortunately. I like Bowers here.
Bowers is an interesting, not the, I agree with this 100%. I think this is where he should go because of the opportunity. The next one that really speaks to me as far as an opportunity might be the Jets.
Hmm.
Maybe. Tennessee
I,
has too many other holes to fill. But Bauer he's in the 98th percentile 40-yard dash. He is a blocker. He's a pass catcher. He
Yeah,
has
a man of that
athleticism up the
size with
ass.
his speed is insane.
6'4", 240.
I think obviously he's one of the top prospects here. I'd be shocked if he goes top 10, to be honest, just based on how many skill dudes are available at positions that are more important, like wide receiver. But
Malik
again, you can't
Neighbors.
argue the dude's talent. He's an absolute generational tight end,
Hmm.
honestly. Like, and we saw the last tight end go in the top 4 with Pitts there.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't really work out too well. I'm not saying these things are, equivalent, but
Right.
if breaks like this, I am feeling very good if I'm the Giants.
Yeah.
You gotta look. You're locked into Daniel Jones for at least another year. There's no way around it. Nobody is going to be trading for him, even if you had some sort of bona fide offer. It's not going to be the type of compensation that you would want from this quarterback outside of being like, okay, we're going to put some better players around you on offense and let's see if we can do this thing. So their offensive line was an absolute nightmare last year, but I'm still going wide receiver here. And for me, it breaks down to Neighbors or Rome. And I think Rome is the more polished prospect. Neighbors is a more of a home run hitter, but Rome, yards after catch, the physicality, he's polished, he's clean. I would take a Dunzier here.
I like it. I think
Yeah.
sort of has more of a, provenness in the
Mm-hmm.
college level, just because like Neighbors hasn't done it for as long as Odunze. People were wondering if Odunze, after last year, if he was going to be able to do it again, and obviously he did. So
Yeah, yeah,
like
he
you
did.
like the track record.
Yeah,
It's there's those are the 2-3 toss up there between Neighbors and Adunze is you can fall on either side of the fence.
Hmm.
And
yep.
that's a great pickup. Instant number one
Oh yeah,
for the Giants. Not to say that that's all. I mean, as far as wide receivers go, I think they're still going to treat Darren Waller as the number one for half the playbook. But whether that's
he
right
might
or
be.
not, we could talk about
Yeah.
all day. Adunze is, and not to mention the other thing that separates Adunze and Neighbors in this is Neighbors is they both have really good speed, but Neighbors is a little too close to Jalen Hyatt speed, Jalen Hyatt frame as far as what the playbook. So you need to have that route runner, that guy who can win 50-50s,
Mm-hmm.
which Jalen Hyatt has not. He'll go over the top if you can get it there, Daniel Jones. If you can't, then you need someone middle of the field, someone more attacking, someone more aggressive. So I like that. Is that back to me at Tennessee?
Yep.
Sweet mother of the Lord. Does this team needs line, and I
Yep.
say that. Do you know which side of the ball I'm talking on? Trick question.
Yes.
Both. Trick question. It's both. There's several good offensive tackles here. I'm thrilled if I have my choice of them, which is at this point the way I think that's why Tennessee is probably one of the least likely to trade anywhere is because they're going to get at the worst they're going to have their second choice.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
and
none,
it
none of
it
those teams should take Lyman before them.
Yeah, not a chance. I agree with you 100%. It's between Fashanu and Alt for me. JC Latham is a little further down the board. I I'm gonna go with Alu Fashanu. I just say Alu Fashanu. I don't know how to pronounce his actual first name. Just so we're aware.
I
My
don't know.
apologies. But I'll take Alu Fashanu. Help the offensive line. I'm assuming Tajay Spears is going to be the number one, if
Mm,
not 1A, 1B. Like, I think the worst case scenario is it's a 1A, 1B there, and that he's, 60-40 with somebody else. But he was efficient enough where he can hold a load until his non-ACL goes out at 28. Until then, he's perfectly fine. Give him some hope. Let Will Levis have more than 0.7 seconds in the pocket.
yeah, you got your quarterback already there, so you got to keep him up right now.
Yep. And that leads us to the Bears back to back for Taylor and E. Taylor at 8.
Man, oh man. Um, I mean, with Neighbors sitting there, I think I got to go Neighbors.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
think there's
that's
much discussion about it.
Yeah, there's been chat, and Ian, I kind of want to get your thoughts on this. There's been chat about the Titans taking Neighbors at 7 to replace Treylon Burks. I don't think that's wise.
I mean, Traylon's been a disaster,
I
but that
know.
their line is just so bad.
That's my thought. As you do your quarterback, your quarterback could be attacked literally
Yeah,
in a game. Um,
I
and
mean,
if
like it
you
doesn't matter who you have out there if you can't have the
get it
time
out
to
to him,
throw him the ball. Like it
yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Neighbors goes at 8 to the Bears. Now a 1A 1B in the receiving core for Chicago.
This is if it broke like this and Chicago got a bona fide player, veteran in that deal, and then Neighbors dropped to them at 8, I would be ecstatic if I was a Chicago fan.
Mhm.
Now I'm looking at, again, this is a team that needs offensive line help, needs defensive line help. Obviously, they took what is his name? He's at Tennessee last. He was drafted out of Tennessee. They took him pretty early last year. The
Oh,
name is escaping
the
me.
offense, the O lineman.
Yes.
I can't. Bears fans are screaming at the screen right now.
I'll look it up in a second.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like I said before, I'm in a chat with a couple Chicago guys. They also happen to be Illinois fans. You see Jershawn Newton there.
Yeah.
Saw a very interesting stat with Newton a couple weeks ago in that chat. Out of all of the Big Five conferences, he led them all in pressures. This kid is a bona fide stud. He's a very good fucking player. But can we swear on this show?
Too late.
I was gonna say,
It's already done.
We curse on my pod all the time.
We're not monetizing, so go for it.
There we go. Just gotta say earmuffs, right? Then you can say whatever you want. I'm gonna take Joe Alt. I think he is a better fit there for that team. Again, if you're not taking Caleb, then you are invested entirely in Justin Fields, and you got to keep them. Yes, Darnell Wright is the name, correct?
Yes.
So now you pair, because Darnell Wright is more of a run blocker, power kind of guy on that right side. Joe Alt can play either side, so go ahead and slide him in at left tackle, and you're starting to shape up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Man, with that trade and those 2 picks, Chicago's looking pretty good.
That's why it's not. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility if they want to keep Fields, but this literally has to be like he's on his 5th year. It's like now or never. So
that's the thing. Yeah, they got to pick up his extension. The extension for him is due in May, so they have to make this decision before they can even talk about definitively be like, yes, we're extending you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're in a tight spot, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why they are going to trade Justin. I could see him going to Atlanta. He's from Georgia. If Belichick ends up there, he's going to be able to scheme for him much better than Arthur Smith ever could. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those where you see like Fields go for Fields and a couple picks for like 1-8.
Yeah, dude.
Like Fields in the second and another pick for their second and another pick for.
I could see it. Yeah. And it's just like, man, the Falcons and the Panthers, man. Like the Panthers not having a pick in this.
It hurts.
Oh,
it hurts just after the season they just had. They got to be kicking themselves. Especially a DJ Moore who just went out and put up 1,400 yards.
We could run that franchise better.
Yeah. No joke.
You heard it here first.
It's crazy, bro. Like it's terrible.
Yeah.
All right. This is Derek.
Yeah, Jets here at 10. Man, it's all offensive tackle for me. Next and best available. So there's 2 here that are incredibly. So JC Latham is a little bit better of an athlete despite his size. And Amarius Mims is just a giant. So I don't think there's much of a bad pick here. I'll take Latham at 10. I don't think the Jets are super sad about it. Give Breece Hall and apparently what will be a somewhat fragile Aaron Rodgers a little bit more time. Help create a gap on the runs. Taylor, you're back on the clock at 11.
That I am. with the good old Vikings.
Where things get interesting. I don't think they're really that interesting. I think if it broke this way for the Vikings, they're pretty happy.
I was gonna say, and I don't know if you guys agree, but I think we're looking at some defensive backs here, probably CB. Um,
You aren't going to go wrong with the top two here between edge and cornerback.
yeah,
It
yeah.
all depends on what happens with Danielle Hunter is really whether their need for edge. And I'm assuming Danielle Hunter goes elsewhere.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm probably gonna go Nate Wiggins. Or actually, yeah, lock that in. But there's Kool-Aid. There's
From my understanding,
Murphy.
There's the
Wiggins
white
is the
boy.
what was that?
There's the white boy out there in the corners.
Ooh,
Cooper.
Cooper. Cooper allowed 92 yards in man coverage in this past season.
He's legit.
He's a monster.
He's gonna be huge in the Richard.
Nate Wiggins is a good hybrid, which is why I like this pick because you need something there besides Harrison Smith, who continues to get not younger. You wouldn't fool me with any of the three of them really. I don't think Kool-Aid is quite as good at press. So if you need press man, he's not going to be your guy. But the other two, any of them, I can understand. Secondary is a need. And again, if you told me Dallas Turner was the pick here, wouldn't argue it. So Denver at 12. You can't pick Russell Wilson.
This is a tough spot.
Would you pick Russell Wilson for kickball right now, let alone anything?
Oh man. Look, that team is like they're just a mess at this point in time. The dysfunction that happened at the end of the season. But one of the bright spots for that team is that defense when they show up to play and are actually engaged. Obviously, you have Surtain. The secondary is still pretty solid, but I think they're going to add on to that secondary here. And it's an Alabama DB for me, but it is not Kool-Aid. I am somewhat of an Alabama fan. I watch more Alabama and Texas college games than any other college teams. And Terrion Arnold is, I think, the best cornerback in this draft. I think he's going to start to shoot up boards. If there wasn't such a dearth of talent offensively and massive holes on the offensive side of the ball for a lot of these clubs, I think you'd see Terrion Arnold going way higher. So you pair him with Patrick Surtain, and you're probably looking at the two best cornerback duo in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, 4.4540. He's can keep up with a lot of the speedsters, even on depth.
And he's younger than Kool-Aid. Like
yeah.
Kool-Aid's a senior, right? And Tyrion's redshirt sophomore.
Let me double check for you real quick. I believe you are correct. 4'5". He's 6'1", 196. He's 20. He turns 21 in March. So
Okay.
he's a sweet pea. That's what he is. But I mean, I don't know if that's something. But yeah. Oh man, his coverage and run defense is amazing. He does need a little help tackling, stats wise on Draft Buzz, but so
he's
like
good, man.
his coverage is going to be what wins him jobs. So
and I mean, you're playing when obviously Alabama had Saban. He's gone now, but Saban started out as a defensive backs coach. Like that was always where they hung their hat. You look at the laundry list of dudes in the NFL who come from Alabama who are playing secondary positions, and they're just studs. And this just continues the lineage.
Nick, he said Nick Saban, and that just means it's time for a real quick break. You know what happened to Nick Saban? He no longer is with Alabama. You know why? Someone took his job.
They took our job.
Well, he left his job willingly.
Somebody took his job. It's okay. It's but me at 13 here, right? Oh dear. So, is there a pick here that they don't need? I don't see. I mean, secondary was not great. Pass rushing, they blitzed a none. like not at all until like the last 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Like I think there were bottom 5 or 6 teams in the league in blitz percentage, and if you're going to continue that, I mean, you could say Antonio Pierce is what kind of convinced a defensive push. Let's blitz a little bit more, but I think if Dallas Turner falls to 13, he could potentially be the best athlete out of the defensive prospects. Potentially,
sure.
definitely out of the edges, I think, but potentially one of the best athletes. I'm gonna go with Dallas Turner. I'm gonna not stop. I'm gonna stop the slide. I also think if for some reason he was to not get here at 13, that he would be on for the Saints at 14. Another defensive pick potentially incoming. Despite us not thinking that defense would be very prevalent in the top 20, we have done 3 in a row now, so that's a plus. But yeah, Dallas Turner probably the best athlete out of this, and if you put him opposite of Max Crosby, there's a bit of a problem there, especially when you have a quarterback throwing division. Look at who's around you now, assuming Russell Wilson stays, which I don't think he's going to, but Broncos. But other than that, you have Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, and both showed that when you applied pressure this year, they can make a couple boo-boos. So Turner for me at 13. Taylor is up with New Orleans at 14.
That is correct.
I disagree.
Yeah, I think we're looking defense here, even though they for sure need a quarterback. I don't know that. I mean, like what, Bo Nix?
I could definitely see him taking Bo Nix.
Yeah.
5-year starter, but they got, I mean, they're also, I don't know how they do this every year, but they were $84 million over the cap before they just restructured somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they're always in that position. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they pull the trigger on a quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm looking at go
They're
ahead.
43 over right now for this year.
Damn.
Not 43. I mean, like they have 43 to the good. Sorry, I worded that incorrectly.
Oh,
43.4 cap space right now.
okay.
What?
Yeah, I didn't expect that. So they're under.
Yeah,
There's no way they're under.
They have space. There's only 7 teams right now that are going to be over, because you got to remember the salary cap goes up 20 million too.
Can you send me that?
Just Google Raiders salary cap. I got on Sport Track.
Saints, not Raiders. Saints.
Oh, Saints. My bad.
Okay.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, that explains. There we go.
I thought you were talking about the Raiders. I'm like, yes, I agree with you. They have an incredible salary cap, and now that I am going to take off the dunce cap, you can continue with your pick.
All right, so you already took what's his name?
Negative 82 million.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
And then there's Dennis Allen, who's in there going,
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
There you go. All right,
Boy.
sorry, continue.
You took Fashanu. So I'm looking at Fuaga, or Latu. Probably, I think I'm gonna go Fuaga.
Ooh, where are we at? Oh, there we go. Offensive tackle.
Yeah.
That dude is an absolute animal.
Yeah.
He is. He's a beast.
He's massive.
Will this help Kendre Miller step out of the shadow from Alvin Kamara? I hope so.
They probably got to move Kamara, to be honest. All right, so I'm Colts here.
Yes, you are in the Colts at pick 15.
Well, Anthony Richardson will be coming back. He'll be healthy. That's their guy. So probably looking on the offensive side of the ball, I think, their defensive line is solid right now. It's not super impressive, but it's like consistent. And I think the D linemen that are available are just like some studs. Like I talked about Newton there. Latu is a beast. And then Byron Murphy out of Texas might be the most complete defensive tackle available in this draft. And if he slides to this position, I could see the Colts potentially pairing him with DeForest Buckner and like really wreaking some havoc. But I think they're going to do their best to provide Richardson with as much help as he can get on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. If they're going to make this work with him, they need to protect him.
Yeah. And, you know, like his escapability and everything is fantastic. But still at the same time, if you want to have sustained success, you got to keep that quarterback upright. So if you could please show me the O tackles here available.
I mean, Amarius Mims is like 6'7", 340.
Yeah, I like him. I don't know if he's polished enough to come in right now and be a day one kind of starter guy. Obviously, he has the size, he has the measurables, he has all the stuff that you would look for in somebody who's going to be a physical kind of tackle. But I will pull the trigger on it and go ahead and take him here. They invest in Anthony Richardson and go with offensive tackle.
I gotta say, I would be, if they have Kool-Aid on the board. This team is so bad in the secondary.
That's a good call.
I mean, I could see it either way. I think your drop off between cornerback, even between the first and second round, is so much larger than offensive tackles. If it broke this way, if you have Fashanu fall to him, or any one of those, I can see them being like, all right, well, this is worth it, because Richardson cannot keep getting shoulder injuries. He will not last because he keeps taking monstrous hits, and he runs and he doesn't slide, which is a Richardson problem, not an O-line problem.
Yes.
So yes. I totally see where they could be like, well, let's buy Richardson some time and see if we can attach a free agent or something with some of our cap. I get that. So, Seattle at 16. I really, really like this fun little fact about Jared Verse, who I'm going to take here for Seattle. He was a U-Albany Great Dane for a year and a half, and then he transferred to Florida State, where he switched from tight end to linebacker and has exploded since. So for a team that needs a little bit more pass pressure, similar, both the NFC West and the AFC West both have some pass heavy offenses out there. Now you got Puka and Cooper down and with the Rams. Kyler at this point in the draft would have not only Trey McBride, who's broken out essentially, but we also have now Marvin Harrison Jr. there. And you're going to, of course, have the 49ers, who have all the weapons in the world. Give somebody some pressure. I like the pick. I'm pretty happy that it broke this way for the Seahawks. So Jacksonville on the clock with Taylor.
So I'm looking at DB here for these guys. I could be convinced otherwise, but I mean, you got DeJean sitting there, you got Kool-Aid sitting there.
Another team that's just atrocious in the secondary.
Yeah, exactly.
28th against wide receivers this past year. Bad. When you get burned for 300 yards by Jake Browning, stack it in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is not my forte here. I don't know enough about these guys, but just looking at some of the stats here, I think I'm leaning DeJean.
You gotta phone a friend.
Phone a friend,
Ooh,
yeah.
He's gonna phone a friend. I think
he's got a little more weight on him. They're both 6'1". They're both juniors.
Let's see. I have to check and see where our actual. I see that they have wide receiver on there still, which can anybody explain to me why that's a need
for Jacksonville?
Right.
I mean, what's Ridley's contract?
Ridley's done. They have to
Yeah.
re-sign him or let him go. They're not gonna re-sign him until after the draft. Otherwise, they have to give up a second-round pick instead of a third-round pick.
I wouldn't say it's like a need. It's not their first priority, but
If he's gone, that's bad.
yeah, exactly.
Christian Kirk can't be your one.
No,
Like
no.
he's a slot dude, and he might be the best slot receiver in the league as just an X guy.
Right.
But he needs somebody like Calvin Ridley
Yeah.
on the outside to really like flourish. And I love Christian Kirk. I'm a big Christian Kirk guy.
Josh Allen's a free agent.
Yep, they're gonna lose him.
Yeah, 100%. I would. I know we only got
I
about
still think it's
3
corner though.
minutes
Yeah,
in part one. I would. I would lie to it. That's my take. I think wide receiver you can build with how deep this wide receiver class is. You have to take who's good at the position you need now. Because I think you can find a good wide receiver A-B combo with Kirk.
Hmm.
You also have the option of taking one of the mini wide receiver free agents. They will have cap space.
yeah. I don't. They just invested in Trayvon Walker though. Like they took him first. Like,
Yep.
hit it, T.
All right.
Settle this debate.
I'm gonna say F you to Derek and go with Dejean.
All right.
Okay, there we go. We'll take Cooper on that. We're gonna pause. We're gonna what? What you got?
Oh, I'm up, right?
Well, yeah, do you want to go? And then we got about 3 minutes. Then we got to cut for part two.
Yeah, I got this.
All right.
So we've had a lot of good breaks for some teams here this far in the first draft. This is a very bad break for the Cincinnati Bengals. They have to take an offensive lineman. So if you can go and pull up the OT for me, please, sir, I would be thrilled. Good Lord. Yeah, I could see them
Are you trading?
I could see them trading out of this. And like I said, we're in the 3-minute clock here, and I threw myself into the fire. So I'm gonna have to pull the trigger here. And I don't love it at all.
They do need D line.
I think out of those remaining guys, I like Guyton the most. So I'm going to go ahead and take Tyler Guyton. Out of OU, obviously produce some very solid tackles. Your Lane Johnsons of that ilk. So they have to get an offensive lineman. And if they don't take one here, that it's a hard spot to fill.
Yeah, they have the cap to basically do whatever they want with who they have. So it's fill the holes. So
I mean, you got to sign T. T's got to be re-signed. You got to give Higgins his money.
Tyler Boyd, DJ Reader, Chidobe Awuzie.
Yeah.
There's 4 names. Jonah Williams, the right tackle. They all need to be re-signed. 3 of them are off rookie deals.
I don't think Higgins is coming back.
There's 5. No, they can. Really? They have $83 million in cap.
I think they're going to pay him.
They can pay literally all 5 if they're careful with their money. All right, that's going to end part 1. We're going to come right back for part 2. We're going to switch over the video streams. I think I might grab a little sip of water and a bite of pizza. And yeah, the old margarita from I was telling Taylor this, the guy who works at the pizzeria 4 miles away from me won a pizza making world competition in Italy last year.
Holy shit.
Yeah. When we're up, it's a margarita too. You can totally, it's all up your alley. Yeah. We don't have time to chit chat about it because the video is gonna cut. But let me tell you, I got a story. All right, so that's gonna do it for part 1. We'll be right back with part 2. Stick around. And
see ya on the flip.
Do it. All right, we are back for part D of the NFL. Part D of the NFL mock draft 2.0. There's bound to be a 3.0, 4.0, and 5.0 on this show at some point. We're still here with Ian. Ian is still doing wonderful. It's just great. Look at that handsome face. And Taylor too, but Taylor has been here for a long time. So if you haven't noticed Taylor's face, then you haven't been paying attention. So
I thought you were trying to say I'm ugly.
I mean, it's you didn't anyway.
I have a child. After that, nothing matters.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can let it go, baby.
It works out wonderfully. No, that's not working. Okay, cool. Love that. That's a good one. Oh, that's why. There we go. Sorry, things are screwed up.
Okay, let's see here. Toilet paper. Toilet paper. Toilet paper. Toilet paper. Toilet paper.
Okay. I will go back to sharing my screen. We're going to continue with, I believe I am up at pick 19
Mm-hmm.
with the Rames, the Los Angeles Rames.
God, they got screwed.
They got screwed. Is that what you said?
Yeah, on that Detroit game, Puka got absolutely massacred on that play. There was 3 fouls on that play.
There, I saw that. I agree with at least 2 of those 3 fouls. Regardless, one of them would have been. All you need is one. You didn't need 2. You could have used one. You could have used all 3. Would have got you the same thing.
God, I love Puka.
Yeah, he's number 1 rookie wide receiver this year, and
Ever.
probably top.
Yeah, ever.
Well,
Ever.
yeah, but I'm talking about just out of this draft class, number 1 rookie wide receiver, and going into next year, dynasty format, top 12, top 10. I can't think of 15 names ahead of him. I'll tell you that.
I agree with that. I'd have to sit down and really think about it. But yeah, the kid's he's an absolute fucking gamer.
Yeah.
Sorry. Freaking gamer.
I had that pick locked and loaded, and then you took him. I was so pissed. I was so pissed.
Oh, Taylor, are you a little sad?
I'm very sad.
All right, hold
Yeah.
on.
I thought he was going under the radar.
There we go. Just for Taylor. Play some sad music.
Hmm.
All right. I'm with the Rams here at pick 19. The other unspoken truth in the glaring no, wrong. Let's bring that sentence back and try words again. The other unspoken truth and the really underlying positive from this team is that the fact they had a lot of young pieces on defense, and a lot of them did very well. Grew throughout the year.
They are an impressive team. They're the youngest defense in the league, right? Packers youngest overall team in the league. Rams youngest defense in the league. Do you know that Sean McVay has not had a single first round selection since he got to Los Angeles?
Yep. That'll change this year, as
that.
you can see.
And this team has won a Super Bowl and has made this run this year. Like, they're good.
Yeah.
Is that the way to do it? You win a Super Bowl and then you play terribly, so you get a good pick, and then you could just like keep bouncing back and forth.
They didn't even get a good pick after they were bad.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
they
that was
didn't get
Detroit's pick. That's
right.
why they had Jameer. That's why they have Jameer Gibbs.
Yep.
But yeah, their defense is very, very solid. Specifically interior. Aaron Donald sticking around helps. He's not going to be there for forever, but he's there at least next year.
Yeah.
I like I think if it broke this way going into for pick 19, there's no reason to trade out. So I'll take Kool-Aid. You could. Oh no, I forgot. He was drafted already. You took Terry and Arnold. So yeah, correct. We'll go with Kool-Aid.
Nice.
Yeah, Kool-Aid Rams. Probably the only spot they need a little bit of help with is the secondary. And
If he's there.
yeah, if he's there, he's got to go. Like that's pretty hands down. It's Pittsburgh time.
Yeah.
They're on at pick 20.
He's not here yet.
He's not here.
Yeah.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
I was gonna say, all the guys I was looking at have been taken.
Yeah. You could use some help.
I feel like the wording on that needs to be improved.
This is another team that just, or can you go really? I mean, I don't know where you could really go wrong.
Right. I mean, I was looking at CBs, hoping Kool-Aid or Arnold fell.
Well, they did a really good job with Joey Porter. That's not defensively. I don't know. They continue to bring back. So they brought Miles Jack signed to the team basically out of retirement in the middle of the year. Elandon Roberts did nothing in 2022, came back at a great 2023 till he was injured. The secondary seems to be composed of basically Akilla Witherspoon, Levi Wallace, I think is still there, and then Joey Porter. And other than Porter, they were like mid. The defensive pressure seems to be fine. Yeah, Minka is great as a safety. Like they're fine with their safeties. Yeah, honestly, like you need O-line too. And
Right.
is it here?
We shall see. Taylor.
Taylor is it?
Man.
I mean, with those
Versus
dudes on the
gone.
line, on the D line there, if they're there,
Yeah.
that's tough. Latu's a beast, and you guys know I'm high on Newton.
Yeah, 100%. Can't be wrong with that.
Yeah. Latu's kind of screaming at me.
Kid's a beast.
He is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really seeing much else that I'm liking here.
Tackle got really
Yeah.
decimated.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that there's not much there. So yeah, I feel like if you are the Steelers sitting here and you don't have the tackle options you're looking for, there's nothing wrong with going Latu. Um, I don't think they would trade this away just because of, some of the value here, like Latu.
Yeah.
I keep saying his name. Let's do it. Latu.
Nice.
Okay. That leaves. I feel like I have an echo going on. Is my sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. It's I don't know. All right. Any words? Anyways? Any words? Greg to that
Onwards.
one. Onwards. Anyways. And then there's Ian who gets to take the old Dolphins.
Hey. The team got absolutely decimated by injuries. On the defensive side of the ball, going to that Kansas City matchup, playing not Miami weather, to say the least. You see 15 people went to the hospital after that game.
I did not know. Oh, that was the hypothermia, right?
Yeah, 15 people.
Wow.
Build a dome, y'all. Please build domes. Like the game needs to be played inside, man. Like this is ridiculous. Well, we can't just be like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal, and then always have the Super Bowl in a very warm or dome situation. It's like, why do the other games not matter about dealing with all kinds of insane weather? If it really comes down to preference here, if you're the Dolphins, I think Newton is the best player on the board. But they have one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And I don't think that they're going to double up there.
Do they re-sign him?
Is he a free agent?
Christian Wilkins is, yes.
Yes, Wilkins.
He wanted a lot of money. I know that was a big problem, like in September and October. He wanted a lot of money.
He deserves a lot of money.
He does.
Yeah.
I agree.
If they're going to move on from him, then the pick is Newton. I'm going to assume that they're going to try to retain him.
Agreed.
And I've seen some interesting mocks with the Dolphins and what they're going to go with. And the thing I liked the most was when they went wide receiver. And they are a team that likes to throw the ball. They are a team with a very explosive offense. They like to play fast. So I'm going to go ahead and take Brian Thomas Jr. here, another speed guy, but he also has the size that Waddle and Tyreek lack. At running back, Mostert will be back. I've seen some complete fools talking about Mostert retiring, and it's like, bro, he just had the best season of his career.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why he would retire. You pair him with A-Chain, and that is a formidable backfield that can really hit home runs and also grind out yards. So I'm going to go ahead and say that they invest even more in Tua because, that's how they want to play. And Brian Thomas Jr. for me.
I love this pick. And I'll double down on this because if you have Waddle and Hill, and at least you have Hill for one more year, right? We don't know if he's retiring in 2025. History, rumors, whatever, secrets. But for at least 1 year, one of Thomas's issues is he's constantly having issues getting free.
Not there.
Not there. No, he is going to develop, and he's shaky in press. He's shaky with line of scrimmage with his takeoff. He's going to have so much freedom to get better if he goes to that team because of Waddle, because of Tyreek Hill, and he is going to develop almost at his own pace, which is going to help. So Mike McD- that whole off, it's going to be I love that pick actually. So
all right, thank you.
Philadelphia here. I haven't looked real quick. I'm going to. Who is supposed to be a free agent for these guys?
Oh, they're getting hit.
They're
Kelsey retiring.
I said it last year. This was their year to do it, And
Mhm.
when we were talking about it, and I said it was going to be a lot of defense in the draft, and this was their year because money is toy like a
Yep.
toy get. And I
Yeah.
don't think they're in a horrible spot, but it ain't great. It's just gonna
Fletcher
load real.
Cox probably going to retire.
Yeah, Fletcher Chickens.
Lane Johnson will eventually retire. But, it's coming.
Cox is a free
Uh,
agent. Kelsey retired. Brandon Graham. Um, Later on in the
he's
draft, you
old.
can look for a running back because Boston Scott and DeAndre Swift are both free agents. Linebacker position is a huge need. Morrow, Cunningham, and Shaq Leonard, who they played for 9 snaps after they signed him.
Yeah.
And only against
His
the
back
Cowboys.
is his back is done.
It's the Colts giving him up was, you want to say it was at the time you're like, oh, it's so shocking. Why would you pay him 19 million if he continues? That's going to be his issue. I mean, that's the sad truth of it.
Yeah, no, that's an unfortunate truth in football. I mean, if Fletcher Cox retires, you've got to go Newton. If he's in the good race like this.
I'm going to assume so. Cox is 30. He just turned 33.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about this is that the defensive line. Let me see what
They got all
they're.
those Georgia boys.
Well, that's true, and some of them not getting as much playing time as they arguably should, right? They actually have 20. They have 28 million in salary cap right now, and they can actually restructure. They can restructure a fair amount. Hassan Reddick hasn't been restructured. Avonte Maddox, Dallas Goedert, Josh Sweat, they all can be restructured. Probably create another 3 to 5.
You're gonna have to pay Jalen more too.
He already is.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to pay him again.
When's his free agent? Oh wow, no. Hold on. Why is his dead cap hit is 104 million?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's all been kind of restructured. His cap hit's only 13 million. Not restructured, but it's yeah. You are gonna have to pay him again, probably. You're right. So yeah, this gets real tough for them. But with most of it being, I mean, Jason Kelsey's a tough fit. Can you find an acceptable center in the second or third round, or can you find a better plus here again? It's kind of one of those scenarios, and I don't really know. I don't have a good feel for it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the best available for their needs, which, if you look at the screen, I think is these 4 spots: linebacker, edge, tackle, cornerback. I'm gonna take Chop Robinson out of Penn State. I'm gonna attack the edge. You're gonna start to rebuild this defense. You're missing some linebackers. You need something on the defensive side of the ball, which obviously fell off the table, right? That was the biggest problem with their last 6 games is that they gave up 34 points a game. So, not good at all. So I'll take Chop, and that puts the Texans and Taylor on the clock at 23.
Man, oh man. So what's up with Nico's contract? That was his 3rd year?
They do so. Noah Brown is a free agent. Robert Woods is a free agent. Everybody else there is fine, as far as to my understanding. Let me double check my factualities. I think
Okay.
the Texans' backbone is very. Dalton Schultz is a free agent. Devin Singletary is a free agent. He's actually probably going to get signed somewhere.
Yeah.
I thought Noah Brown is a free agent, and that's it. So it's just Noah Brown. It's not even Robert Woods.
Interesting. I guess they have wide receiver first here, which like you have Dell, you have Nico.
Well, you don't have the
Granted-
alpha, and that's what that's.
Yeah,
I get it.
but
I
like
do.
seeing what they just did with what they have, do they try and run it back and like fill in elsewhere? Like D-line?
How did Houston get this pick?
They
This is their pick.
Didn't they trade that to the Cardinals last year?
It's from Cleveland, I believe.
Oh, Cleveland. This is Cleveland's pick. There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Good call. Cleveland. This is the Deshaun Watson trade. This is their pick, and then the Cardinals got the Houston Texans pick, which is why the Cardinals pick is 27.
Yeah.
Things are figured out. The Hodley boys.
Well done, boys. Well done.
Sorry. So continue.
Yeah,
You,
I mean, I see the need for wide receiver, but I'm also like just looking at what they just did. Stroud's talent and what he was able to do with Nico and Tank and their weird plethora of tight ends.
soon to be weirder.
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning strengthening the D line or the offensive tackles here.
You said it. You said it. Just say the name. Just say the name. If he falls to the Texans at 23, excuse me.
Whew.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. This team, their run game, night and day between 22 and 23, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were like bottom 3 in the league against the run in 2022. They were like top 8 in the league this year against the run. Maybe top 10. Their secondary, almost exact flip, which you had to. There a lot of teams were playing from behind. There was a run and gun show when you had CJ Stroud, and then you have Nico Collins going for 7,000 yards and Tank Dell for 894,000 yards, and it's just what you do. But their secondary statistically was like bottom third of the league. I like the D-line pick here, just from my own point of view. Throw pressure. I mean, Jerzon is a monster to me. I mean, a lot of people are. I'm 5'9", but
they're a good team.
They are.
Yeah.
Real quick. The spread was 7.5 against the Ravens. I have them covering that. I have them somewhere within a touchdown. Is that insane? You're
I don't
muted.
think that's insane.
Yes, I know I'm muted. My pup's going a little crazy right now.
Oh, I got you. It's Mooch. It's so adorable.
We can bring that back up.
He pops up on all my my podcasts as well.
That's all right. We like animal support.
You guys know how much I like Newton. But they're a good team.
Yeah.
You
Let's
like
lock it in.
Yeah, all right. Jerzon. I think Houston's thrilled if he falls to them at 23. I think that makes that Deshaun Watson trade even more of a W for them.
Right.
Dallas at 24 for E. Ooh, how are you gonna massacre my boy?
Yo, by the way, E and I had a bet at the beginning of the season. Dak Prescott outscores Trevor Lawrence straight up. You remember this, E?
No, I also have to eat a piece of paper from a bet that I made with Derek.
For Ezekiel Elliott. You know what? We're gonna call that one off though, because Ramondre Stevenson missed like 5 games. That's not fair to you.
Taylor,
he probably would have got he probably would have got it without that, but that's not the point.
Taylor, we bet that you said Dak would have more than Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did we wager?
It was only like $25.
All right. Well,
although now that you're asking, I think it was
he'll buy you a couple drinks next time. Next time he sees you, he'll buy you a couple drinks.
All right. Yeah, I got you there. Look, I was Trevor.
It should have gone your way. Like at the beginning of the season.
I think, look, man, I've been a staunch Dak supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why Dak gets so much unwarranted hate is because these clowns on these talk shows always talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Always. And it's like he's under such a magnifying glass with that star on his helmet. The season that he just had, top 3 in MVP voting, in my opinion. Like, the guy was absolutely stellar. It's just these playoff games, man. And when you're wearing that star, you got to win games in the playoffs. And he was bad until the game was out of hand.
Right.
And the thing with Trevor, he's had the most turnovers in the league since he got into the league, more than Josh Allen. And he's obviously not putting up the numbers that Josh Allen does. So if you're turning the ball over like that and not putting those numbers up, like it's not great. And I know I'm not going to hold the year with Urban Meyer against him too much because obviously Urban Meyer is, he's one of the top 5 clowns that you can book for a child's party in the country. The man is an absolute joke. I don't know anything else to say about him outside of just like despicable human, like just terrible person. And his time in Jacksonville was so bad for Trevor and his development.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll send you your money. That's a fair bet. All right, here we go. Cowboys. You're going to lose Tyron Smith eventually.
I hope this year.
Embarrassed by the Packers. Packers, youngest team in football. You allow them to come into your stadium and just kick your ass up and down the field. You're getting torched by Romeo Doubs. I'm looking probably at safety here. If you can pull that up for me.
It's only Cameron Kitchens.
It's Kitchens. And yeah, can you? All right, let me just see the full board again, just to see if anyone has fallen. That's just too talented. You don't need Keon Coleman. Obviously, you don't need Michael Penix, whatever the fuck. Quinion Mitchell's interesting.
The super duper weenie world headquarters.
You said
Quinion Mitchell is interesting, but I think it's Cam Kitchens.
You're gonna go with Cam Kitchens.
Yeah, just real quick on Mitchell. I've
Kitchens.
definitely seen some mocks where he goes, honestly, like he's already gone at this point. So
Yep.
some people like him. Yeah. Or some people. I mean, he's obviously very good.
Yeah. Senior, polished, like I don't think he's a game breaker kind of guy. Like you can get out your Tyrions or your Kool-Aids.
Right.
But he's a very solid cover corner.
So oh my God, I think I said it in the first. This draft has to cover 4 starters. The Cowboys just don't have cap. They fucked that pig. Just for lack of a better phrase. Tyron Smith, Stephon Gilmore, Tony Pollard, Jaron Curse, which is your safety. All free agents. I think they have maybe 7 million to bring back any of them unless you restructure. Now, this is if you don't extend Dak. If you extend Dak, his owed money for this year and his cap hit goes from 59 to essentially probably whatever you can front load the contract at or back end the contract at. So maybe you might create 19 million there and you could sign a cornerback. You could sign any. I like either your safety or secondary, essentially. It doesn't really matter. Dallas loves to move things around anyway. And the other one here is for me is Graham Barton because he fills in okay at the time for Tyron Smith. So those are my picks. I'm on with Green Bay at 25. What does this team need? This is one of those teams that's so young you don't really know what's bad and what's good, except that they're all good together.
I'm kind of surprised they don't have running back higher up. Like Jones is aging.
Well, even if
Dylan
they do,
hasn't proven himself.
There isn't a running back candidate for the first round. Like
That's
you're mid to end second round before you should see running backs going anywhere.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily advocating for that now, but it's weird that it's like so far down on their list here.
Yeah. I would have loved Cam Kitchens to be available here, but we're going to be stretching just a weeby. Man, Leonard Taylor he's snuck into Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy both as defensive linemen. I'll stretch a bit. I'm going to go Tavondre, and it's not too much of a stretch. I think he can possibly squeak into the first round, and this is where you would potentially see him going. If you need defensive line help, there aren't a crazy amount of linebackers that I would take. So, got about 8 minutes left. Tampa Bay is on the clock for Taylor.
We got a rock here. Okay.
I got something
Um,
fixed.
I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna. All right. I'm looking at edge or cornerback here, and
I mean, there's only really one edge that belongs in this first round out of what's left. Cornerback, I got two. So
yeah, throw up the edges again.
it's Braylon Trice. There's not
You don't like Chris Braswell?
borderline first round. If you wanted to stretch, I wouldn't throw up at it, but
Yeah. Um, yeah, let's go Trace.
I'll get him on quick. Uh, he's got the Cardinals at 27. Hey, look who are you gonna take a second one?
Another receiver?
Can you imagine Keon Coleman and Marvin Harrison with Trey McBride?
They would
God.
they would definitely like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and take, I think it's easy. I'm going Quinion Mitchell here.
Ooh, secondary. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Kansas City at 28. Man, this should be defensive, and it's just there's again, it's rough. They have tight end as their fourth need, and that is cute.
If it breaks like this, then they don't take Keon Coleman. They're drunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one else on that team can catch the ball outside of Rashi Rice. Like everyone else is like.
I was
Yeah.
telling Taylor Rice has it out of the rookies. He was a top 5 rookie, but you need other
was
people.
awesome.
You need other
awesome.
people. Yeah,
Right.
They lost 3 games
because of drop pass.
just based on wide receiver play.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Lost 3 games out of 17 because wide receivers literally could not catch the ball.
That's ignorant.
Yeah, they're ignorant. Taylor, you got Buffalo.
I mean, you guys can feel free to hate on this or disagree, but I'm gonna go Troy Franklin.
I don't hate the fill-in for Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
They're not signing somebody. They're not in a position to sign somebody. It's a draft pick if you're replacing him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not a Khalil Shakir believer?
Oh, what?
I'm in and out on Shakir, which I feel like is the way he plays.
Well, Shakir is going to have the heads up. Shakir has shown in the last few weeks that he can play the 2 in this team for wide receivers. The interesting part is that's still a 3 because of Dalton Kincaid. So that's where he fits.
Give me a little scroll here. Interesting. And we still got Byron Murphy still available, right?
Correct. He is down here.
Oh
right
yeah,
here.
lock that in for me.
That's a great.
That is good value there.
Yeah. San Francisco, I don't think it's their O-line. It's the only thing. Ever since McGlinchey left, it has been not as good, still amazing, which is kind of crazy to say. I'll take Fautanu. I'll throw him in the
That's
end
nice.
of that. Yeah, I don't even think it's necessarily falling, but if he's available there, that is completely in the cards. And that leaves Taylor to have the last pick, all to his little itty bitty lonesome.
Man, oh man. What do we got?
Interesting.
I mean, it's basically the easy one is putting 1 + 1 is 2. The more interesting, well, that's the easiest. Amari Lassiter, yeah. 1 + 1 is 2 right there. You could sneak a Leonard Taylor in there if you didn't feel it, but we've seen what Georgia produces with their defense.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's this dude's name? Rackshaw?
Yeah. Rakeshaw. Ennis or Ellis?
Ennis, yeah.
Ennis.
Where am I looking? Am I lost?
He's CB. Ennis Rakeshaw.
Oh, right here. Missouri. Rakestraw.
Yeah. I mean, to your point.
With a name like Ennis, he's gonna be great.
Yeah. I have no strong preference.
I have no strong preference, he goes.
I think I mean if it breaks like this,
yeah.
what's that Duke lineman?
The D lineman, Leonard Taylor.
No, the offensive lineman for Duke.
Oh, Graham Barton.
Yeah.
Mm.
Jackson
don't-
Powers
Yeah.
Johnson is also very good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let me see if there's any help I can offer you with the free agent update.
I mean,
No, I really can't.
Yeah.
I need a little bit of everything.
I think Barton's a fine pick. I just don't think that's where they would go. I think
Right.
they're gonna go they're probably gonna go Lassiter.
Goes to break. We'll take Lassiter.
Yep.
That was
Nice.
an A+ pick. You got an A+
Ooh.
pick. Cardinals A+ and A.
Marty. Woo!
Cowboys B+. Didn't like it. Vikings A on Nate Wiggins. Love that one. Jets
Beautiful.
A on JC Latham. Let's go with the Steelers. We got a B+ for Latu Latu. I don't like that one either. I don't know. I think it fits. I don't know. To be honest, B+ can't be too bad. That's it's still an 87 or an 88 out of 100.
Yeah. We'll take it.
We'll take it indeed. Another fantastic mock draft. The interesting part is all these teams that have to get O linemen and won't be able to get them between 17 and 24 in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
That is going to be an issue for some clubs.
Yeah, who knows? Free agency. You got trades. Look what happened last year. The Panthers and the Bears. Now the Panthers could be desperate and trade out Adam Thielen this year because why not? You never know. It would just be the absolute, be the worst. Yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. It's been a mock draft. It's been a fun mock draft as usual. We seem to hit it off pretty well. I mean, we got to do another one when we get closer, right? Got to get somewhere maybe in March or April, somewhere in that frame. We'll probably come back. We'll do another one. Ian,
Cool.
you got any final words for the viewers?
Thanks for having me, y'all. To the viewers, thanks for supporting the Fantasy Flyer. I support these bros as well, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. We had a great time. I had a great time.
What's your podcast name again for the viewers?
The North End Podcast. We will be
Check it out.
having an actual Austin FC MLS player on the pod coming up.
Tune in.
We've been growing quite a bit there, and if you want to listen to some soccer talk, come on down. MLS getting back in full swing here in about 40 days.
There you go.
Nice.
40 days. Check out the North End Podcast featuring Zach, who's not here, and Ian. And then for Taylor, this is Derek. Listen to some Bob Barker.
Bob Barker reminding you,
Peace out.
control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.